It appears progressives are again attempting to manufacture another scandal involving Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, and two appeals court judges are pouring cold water on it. Third Circuit Court of Appeals Judge Thomas Hardiman brushed aside the word scandal and expressed that he did not believe there was anything Justice Thomas did incorrectly, the National Review reported. During an event at Princeton University on April 12, the judge, along with Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals Judge James Ho, addressed questions about Justice Thomas from attendees and from Washington Free Beacon reporter Aaron Sabarium. "The thing that I thought was weird about the Justice Thomas thing is the scandal. To use your word, there was no intimation at any time, ever, that his billionaire friend ever had any business before the Supreme Court. So, how's he helping his friend? He's not even in a position to help his friend because his friend had exactly 0 cases in the Supreme Court," Judge Hardiman said, responding to a student's question. "You know, I decide cases involving lawyers in Pittsburgh. And I know these lawyers, some of them are former law partners of mine. I belong to organizations with them, I go to lunch with them. Should I not hear their cases? If you have such suspicion about our integrity, you could really end up in a situation where judges can't even do their jobs because at some point you're attached to everybody," he said. The billionaire friend being referenced is Harlan Crow, who, it was reported by left-leaning publication ProPublica, gave luxury gifts to Justice Thomas. "I've had my former law clerk stand up in court and argue cases. And I don't think they've ever won a case," the judge said. "And it's not because they're not brilliant lawyers. They are. But usually they're doing pro bono immigration cases, and sadly, for the immigrants, those cases can be very difficult to win. If someone wanted to make me look bad and I happened to rule in favor of a client in an immigration case that was argued by my former law clerk, oh, there would be a big expose." "Oh, Hardiman chose partiality to his law clerk," he said. "I think that's a great answer," Judge Ho responded, who is a former clerk for Justice Thomas at the Supreme Court, said. He said there was a difference between an actual instance of corruption and the mere perception of it. "I think the appearance issue is absolutely important because the judiciary basically rests on its credibility and therefore it is absolutely vital to what we do that people believe in what we do," the judge said. "The judiciary, like any human institution, isn't perfect, because none of us are perfect," he said. Colorado Republican Representative Lauren Boebert sounded off this week over the latest attempts to smear U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Democrats have taken their war against Justice Thomas to another level, imploring Chief Justice John Roberts to now step in as some discuss impeachment, while others in the party press for Thomas to resign. A group of 16 congressional Democrats has called on Roberts to investigate Thomas for accepting luxury trips from a prominent Republican donor for over 2 decades, trips that, by current rules and standards, he was not required to report. The left will endlessly attack a patriot like Justice Clarence Thomas, but say nothing as George Soros' son visits the White House on what is essentially a monthly basis, Boebert tweeted. As noted by Boebert, the George Soros family has its tentacles deep within the Biden administration. Since Joe Biden took office, Soros' son has visited top officials at the White House 14 times. Alexander Soros, a massive Democrat fundraiser who brags about his relationships with world leaders as if he would have gotten them on his own, has had more than a dozen White House visits with top officials in the past 2 years.